this week.
We are talking about the movies The Running Man and Trap House, and the TV shows Chair Company and The Last Frontier.
And for wrestling, we are talking SmackDown from the 14th and Raw from the 17th.
Excellent. And this is We Should Pod That.
Episode
14. Let's go.
We should watch that with Ashley and Sushi. Feel the vibes, it's a night so lush.
All right. Ashley, what do we have for this week?
All right. So our first movie is Trap House. And guess what? It involves a trap house. So this movie is like a really fun, fast-burning thriller about a dude named Ray Steele, played by Dave Bautista, who's like a worn-down DEA agent in El Paso, who discovers that the cartel crew he's been chasing is being robbed by his son. Dun, dun, dun. His son, Cody, played by Jack Campion and his friends, which happens to include the Chair Company's Sophia Lillis, are all children of DEA agents. And they basically like weaponize the surveillance tips and raid tactics that they've absorbed at the dinner table, and they knock over cartel stash houses. And they just seem to think it's going to be super easy. When Ray finds out who's behind the jobs, everything kind of explodes. And it's by director David Dowse, who made the movie Goon. It leans into kind of a scrappy kid logic to crime. These guys are not sophisticated criminals. Yeah. And it's pretty fun. It's like a messy, unpredictable kind of vibe that the kids have. And that really makes it kind of stand out. So this movie is flying really low on the radar. It's one that I didn't really know about until I think we just looked to see what was playing. But I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I remember we saw a trailer for it maybe a month or so ago.
Oh, yeah, kind of a while ago.
Just one trailer for it. I don't remember seeing it more than once.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know why it's not getting more promotion. I think Dave Bautista is so much better than he needs to be for a movie like this. It's got some depth to it, but his acting is awesome. Like, you really feel for the guy. And I think the kid actors are fantastic as well. And it's just fascinating to see kind of the difference between how adults and children react to like serious situations. You know, these kids really think that they can get away with anything and they don't think things through. And I mean, obviously, I never robbed a cartel, but, you know, everyone was stupid when they were teenagers. And there were times where I was really like cringing, thinking of when I was a teenager. I was really nervous for them. And I really liked there was some good comedy in there, sort of scattered throughout. And the action looked great. Oh, Sush, I also have to tell you something amazing.
Yeah.
The guy who directed this is the creator of Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would not associate this movie with Foundation in any sort of way.
Yeah. That
this guy has some rings. I'm like looking at his filmography right now.
I know, right?
8-Bit Christmas too, which I think I remember liking it. It was a cute like streaming holiday movie. I didn't see Coffee and Cream, but I know some people who thought that was funny. Actually, now that I think about it, I did see that, and I thought it was kind of funny, even though I understood why a lot of people panned it. But it seems like he at least likes Dave Bautista, because this is the second time that he's been in one of his movies. Yeah, he did that
Stuber movie with him, which I thought was pretty cute. So, yeah, he is now, I should say he's one of the creators because there's some other guys. But yeah, I found that really fascinating. And I was trying to think about what the connection is, you know, between that and some of his other work and this. And I think...
Good cinematography.
Good cinematography. I think the acting's really good in everything I've seen from him. So you just get the feeling this is someone who's probably really good at communicating like what he needs from it, good at working with actors, or at least that's what I assume.
Right.
Yeah, this movie was really cute. It was like a nice surprise, and there was still some stakes there. Yeah, what'd you think, Sush?
Well, I love Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
But I especially appreciated that this movie ended up being less about him than I expected.
Yeah, true.
Did I think the kids were stupid? You bet.
Oh, so dumb.
But I also felt like this was a pretty original story, and I could understand the kids' motivations and felt, especially later on, that the different ways they respond to the escalating consequences made sense.
Yeah.
None of it would have made sense with average teenagers, but I could totally see how those of DEA agents could downplay how serious dealing with a drug cartel is.
Right. It's like their parents' day job, it's their everyday life. So you can see how they would downplay it.
I mean, I think the casting of Kate Del Castillo was really appropriate, given her being the star of La Reina del Sur, which is
right.
Yeah, it's the original series that the USA Network series Queen of the South was adapted from. And also her ties with El Chapo.
That was wild. Yeah. Why don't you give them a little overview?
Well, I mean, I'm sure people could just look this up on Wikipedia, but quick overview is just that apparently the media thinks that her and El Chapo might have had a relationship because they have communicated with each other to the point where they kind of lined up this interview. Your least favorite actor was involved in it, Sean Penn. But he was involved with it somehow. It didn't go completely smooth, but that was just an interesting tidbit of information to find out about her, and kind of made sense for her to be in this movie based on that character that she's played and her connection to actual real life cartels. I think her acting or just presence helped to balance out the more absurd aspects of the movie. Because she was way more serious than anyone else in that movie. I think this is definitely a fun heist film that, as I mentioned before, is pretty original. So it's probably worth catching if you're a Bautista fan or if you're a fan of any of the actors playing the teens. And maybe even as a change-up of sorts if you're a fan of heist movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you don't fall into one of those categories, I'd say it'd probably be okay to pass on it until it shows up on streaming or something like that. But yeah, I'll go into my ratings. I gave it an enjoyment rating of 3.5 and a quality rating of 2.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think the quality was especially bad, but this movie did have a feel of a larger budget streaming film rather than a box office release. So I think I went into it at least expecting a slightly higher quality. I'm not saying it's worse than other Bautista films at all. It's probably one of his better, more action-focused films. And I mean, it's definitely better than In the Lost Lands.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wanted that one to be good.
Yeah. And I think other than that, I would have liked to have seen more action with Bautista in the movie.
Right.
I think that definitely impacted my enjoyment score, but I mean, seeing as it's still 3.5, it's still pretty high considering. I'm assuming maybe older teens or young adults might enjoy this more than I did, especially if they're fans of the actors that play the teenagers. I recognize Sophia Lillis from Chair Company, Jack Champion, and Blue Del Barrio from other stuff. But I don't really follow their careers closely enough to know very much about them. I just feel like maybe somebody who's more into them would be really excited about this movie.
Yeah, that's great. For scores, mine were kind of close to yours. I actually gave it a double 3.
Oh,
so 3 for enjoyment, 3 for quality. I think it's just really enjoyable, but obviously there's more depth that could have been there, I guess, to get the score up. Again, like you were saying, I would have loved to see more Bautista, more of maybe the other kids interacting with their parents. Of course, it's hard when you have a story where it's talking about both the parents and the children. We saw that with that Colleen Hoover movie we saw recently. When they have sort of, simultaneous parent and child stories, it can be a little difficult because you don't know where the focus is.
Totally.
Nonetheless, I still really liked what I saw of Bautista and his team in the field. I thought that was really cool, lived in performances, good action. So would have been nice to see some more of that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You know what? This is one I can already see us watching with my dad after my mom falls asleep during the holidays.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So that was Trap House. And now we're moving on to our next film, The Running Man, in parentheses, 2025. So The Running Man is a relentless, kind of depressingly modern feeling dystopian thrill ride. It's set in a future where desperate contestants risk their lives on a televised hunt for survival. It's a chase to the death. It's got epic needle drops, killer action, and a protagonist with like a really justifiably negative attitude towards authority. The film follows Ben Richards, played by Glenn Powell, who reluctantly signs up for the Running Man show. And this is a show where the runners have to evade elite hunters and the public as well, who can report them. They have to do this for 30 days to win a really massive amount of money. And he signs up in order to save his sick daughter. The movie is directed and co-written by Edgar Wright and Michael Bacall, and it revives and sort of draws heavily from Stephen King's 1982 novel. And there's also some nods to the 1987 Schwarzenegger film, which is insane. And it has a really great high-profile ensemble cast, including Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, Lee Pace, William H. Macy, and probably one of my favorite, Coleman Domingo, is really great in this. And Wright updates the story, though, from the original and from the movie so that it's more for the digital age. It even includes a conspiracy-obsessed online sleuth who, I don't think I told you this yet, Sush, I read was inspired by real-life X Factor conspiracy theorists on YouTube. So I think it had a lot going on. And man, I have a lot of opinions on this movie.
What's an X Factor conspiracy theorist?
Oh, like the TV show X Factor.
You mean X-Files?
No, X Factor. It's like a reality show.
Really?
Yeah. Let me see. What is it?
X Factor.
X Factor. It's like, yeah. It was a UK show and I think originally. And it's a music competition show. It was like a Simon Cowell
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one. Right.
So
I just haven't heard of it like referred to in a long time. So I thought you almost meant like it had to do with X-Files. I was like confused for a moment.
Conspiracy would make more sense than X Factor conspiracy.
Well, probably because I fall asleep to X-Files on a daily basis.
That's true. I'm sure we're having dreams about X-Files all the time.
Okay.
But,
well, sorry about that. I totally.
Yeah. So this movie, first of all, it starts with one of my favorite songs, which is Underdog by Sly Stone.
Right.
And they play the whole song at the beginning. You see a scene sort of to get to know the character. And then there's like one of the classic Edgar Wright doing cool stuff to music scenes. Loved it. So I was already on board.
Yeah.
And what really kind of struck me with this was how close it feels to our real life in certain ways. The audience for the TV show, they cut to them all the time. They're sort of fanatics, the way they judge the people, the contestants on the show, and they're cheering for the violence. It was funny. I was watching and I was thinking of two conflicting things. One is we watch professional wrestling. We talk about it here. And I was like, oh, man, they remind me a bit of wrestling fans. But on the other hand, they also reminded me of certain followers of a particular politician who are very sort of rabid and very sort of undying in their following him without a lot of attention to misinformation, and misinformation is another big part of this movie. So there's a lot of themes that, even though it was fun and it was fast paced, it also kind of sometimes hit me and I was like, oh, damn, this could be us. But overall, it's a fun movie. It looks great. The action's incredible. There's a lot of humor. Michael Cera plays a really great character. There's so much really intricate and well thought out action. There really is. My only criticism of it is probably because it draws from the book. There's a lot of characters, and it sort of feels like they come and go a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of thought about the Fugitive TV show, which is way before my time, but that's sort of like, it was sort of episodic because he's on an adventure and he crosses paths with people.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there was, I mean, aside from the 2 or 3 characters, I would say that I'd label as our leads in the movie. Yeah, there are a lot of scenes where a known actor will pop in for a few minutes to do a scene or like a few scenes, and then they won't be there for the rest of the movie.
It's also, I was saying this to you earlier, but I think the sign of a good director or a director that actors like is if you watch their movie and even the small roles are cast by name actors.
Yeah.
Like there is Bautista from Dexter, plays a role that could have been played by anyone, you know, things like that. And there's some really great performances. Obviously, the lead performance is great. He's so charming. He's good at the action.
Yeah.
My personal favorite was, I just think Coleman Domingo was so incredible as the host of the Running Man. I thought he was wonderful. He sort of is just so about entertainment and about attention that you can see how he can ignore all of the horror that's happening. And that's what you see throughout, people ignoring horrible things for entertainment and engagement. So that also really struck a chord for me with the way influencers and internet culture is. But anyway, I've been talking a lot. Sush, tell me what you thought about the movie.
Well, I'm a huge Arnold fan, so the 1987 movie will always hold a special place in my heart. But it definitely isn't my favorite of his movies, nor would I say it's in like my top 10 for him, which I think really freed me up to be okay with giving this a better rating like than I actually would have given to that movie. Because I don't really have like a strong attachment to it. I mean, I like it, but I don't, like I said, it's not in my top 10 for Arnold. And it's definitely not in my top 5. Also, I loved our leads in the movie. In my opinion, it was Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo. I'm sure people can argue it's other people.
There's so many good characters.
Yeah.
I also love Jamie Lawson, who plays his wife, was great.
Yeah, but like for the 3 of them, I think for Powell, it's obviously a silly notion that he's like the world's angriest guy, since he does a great job of conveying how dire the situation is with his daughter's health. You know, that's led him like early on when he meets with his manager, who's Bautista from Dexter, is played by David Zayas. I mean, I think Josh Brolin was a great antagonist, even though I think we could have tried to fill out his backstory or motivations a little bit more.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo is the best host. All I really have to say beyond enjoying his character more than I expected is just that he kind of makes the movie in a way, because he stays pretty consistent when there seems to be some changes that are happening. I think like all 3 of these characters kind of stay pretty consistent, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie that changes the way that things are going. And it's kind of hard to even like say where, you know, to expect like what's coming next, even though like we've seen a Running Man movie before and, you know, we can go read the book or something. But there's some other notable talent in the cast that we're fans of, but I won't really go into detail just so I don't potentially spoil anything. But like I said, I enjoyed this movie more than the 87 movie with Arnold. mostly just because it seemed appropriate given the plot and themes and how they might either reflect or even provide some sort of relief about what's going on in the real world currently.
Yeah.
So yeah, aside from that, my favorite moments, and just keep in mind, if I mention any specifics, they're not really spoilers since they're in the trailer, probably. Coleman Domingo hosting in general. I felt this was a way of paying tribute and almost even preserving part of the vibe of the 87 movie.
Yes.
The cinematography was great, not only for action scenes, but also conveying tension, humor, and other moods. Michael Cera's character and the scenes he's in, I'd say they might even be funnier than what's shown in the trailer.
Oh, for sure.
And then beyond that, I just would like to say you should probably see this in a premium format if you can. I've heard good things about Dolby for those who care about the audio experience, but I know we definitely thought it looked visually amazing in IMAX. So
yeah.
At least I felt like the trade-off was worth it. Like the soundtrack and score is great. So if you lean more on the side of sound, maybe do Dolby, or for visuals, do IMAX.
Yeah, the soundtrack is really spectacular.
And then my ratings, enjoyment, I give it a 4. And quality, I give it a 4, mostly just because I don't have as much filmmaking insight as you do.
You have plenty. And you know what? That's not what we're about. We're about enjoying and also looking at the themes and everything, full picture.
I guess so. Well, I just think I'm not as discerning or critical about the quality aspects of it. So yeah, that's all I meant.
So yeah, I gave it a 4 for enjoyment as well. I had a really great time with this. And quality, I was on the fence between 3.5 and 4. The only reason I was going to give it a 3.5 is just because there's some other Edgar Wright movies I like a bit more. But you know what? I'm going to bump that up to a 4 as well. I think it's really good. I was kind of surprised on Rotten Tomato it's not getting better scores. But I always think it's telling when you see that the critic score is lower than the audience score. I think we tend to be a little closer to audience in a lot of ways because we just want to have a good time.
Yeah, it's like that and like the weird way that they calculate all the stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of
I don't want to get into it.
Math and politics about it. But yeah, really enjoyable. So definitely another recommend.
Yeah, so that's a Quality Entertainment Award
quality
movie from us because,
award.
We're all doing 4s and above for everything across the both of us. So yeah.
Good movie week for sure.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So now we're going to head over to the television. This week, we're going to start by talking about The Last Frontier. We've got episode 7 called The Change of Time. We still have 3 more episodes to go, believe it or not. And so this episode, it opens in a flashback to when they lived in Chicago. So Frank, his son Luke, and his daughter Ruby, they sneak out to get ice cream. And as Ruby's sitting in the car adding a wish, where she writes down little wishes on a piece of paper, and she puts them into her wish jar, Frank brings over her food to her, and then it's this beautiful moment, and suddenly there's a drive-by shooting. And we know that Ruby has passed away. And yeah, it happens.
Finally!
I'm being all somber and you're excited.
To be excited about a kid getting murdered, but finally.
I have been wondering what happened. You know what? It's sad. I got a little teary. She's dying. She knows she's dying. He knows she's dying. He holds her as she dies. It's sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the present. Frank is at headquarters and he's sort of revisiting, looking at Ruby's wish jar, thinking about it before heading in. He meets Sydney, who is pushing really hard to interrogate Thiago, who's the supposed courier and former CIA assassin who's tied to Havelock. Then Frank and his assistant, they find that there's a 25-year-old newspaper where Thiago appears in a group photo of people at a parade. Now, this is something that they locate through facial recognition. So they're trying to figure out more about him. It's the only photo they can find of him. Thiago, meanwhile, they're trying to get info from him and he stonewalls. But as they're talking to him, it then cuts to Havelock, who we see is secretly listening to the entire interrogation from a remote fire tower, which if you've seen the Angelina Jolie movie,
the fire
which is not
movie.
so hot, guys, but it is cool to see fire towers. So he's in one of those things. Then all of a sudden, one of the escaped inmates who had been held at their headquarters, who is on bath salts, he's a massive dude in his tighty whities. He just freaks out and starts attacking people right there in the headquarters. It sort of culminates in this weird scene where he's picked up, I forget what it was, electrical box, maybe something where he's about to hit someone with it. And suddenly and finally, the power in Alaska comes back on.
Right.
He gets electrocuted and drops dead while they play the song Dancing in the Moonlight. This show has so much weird music.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got Alfre Woodard, who is like the head CIA lady, and she's meeting with the Mad Men white hair guy. And they're talking about this dead man switch and like details about it. This is the thing where Havelock has to like check in every 24 hours or something.
Right.
And then they also discuss that Thiago has a past with Sydney's father. And they're like, do you think she knows about it?
Damn.
So they are continuing to freak out about the situation with Havelock. Then we go back to the headquarters. Sydney is shaken and she tells Frank that the indictment is coming soon. And she's really nervous because, as she tells him, she's spent years hurting people for the agency. Frank tries to comfort her. He opens up about his loss of Ruby and fatherhood and tells her that her father would have wanted her to be happy. So they have some nice connecting moments in this episode.
Yeah.
Then the team receives and discusses additional photos from the photo shoot that was in the Maryland newspaper. So they have all these photos that include Thiago and this group of people. And they're trying to figure out, hey, you know, who are these people in the photo? And Sydney just doesn't seem to be into that line of questioning. She tries to steer them away from digging deeper. And she's like, well, it was 25 years ago. Half of them are probably dead, which is a little wild. And she's like, this little girl in the group photo, she could be my age by now. Okay. So then the team finds that Thiago has a wire sewn into his clothing. It's clear that Havelock then has been monitoring everything. And Frank notes that Thiago looked pretty surprised by the discovery. So then Frank, he decides he has to go home. He's been thinking about his daughter, as we've seen throughout the episode. In the last episode, Luke was looking for something in the basement. We see at the end that it's a gun inside a hollowed out book. So clearly he has this on his mind, and he goes home and has a serious talk with Sarah and Luke. When he gets home, he's surprised to find they have the gun out. They've already seen the gun he was hiding. And we finally learn the truth. When Frank was in Chicago, he hid evidence that it would have exonerated a violent criminal. He says he's guilty of a million other crimes. He was innocent of this one. I just hid the gun. And what happened is that criminal's family found out about it in order to hit on Frank. And that's how Ruby was killed. So his family is furious and incredibly sad. They walk out, leave him there. He has to go back to the office. So then Frank and his team manage to trace Havelock's bug signal to the woods. He's in the middle of nowhere, and they ride out on horses for some reason because they thought that cars and airplanes would be too loud.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the way cops really do business, but it was cool to see them riding horses.
Right.
So he rides a horse with Sydney, and then while they're out there, just randomly, there's another inmate there who shoots at them, and then they take him down and they arrest him. Meanwhile, there's this young airman, he's on his computer. I guess he's been talking to someone about state secrets. And then Havelock shows up. He's been talking to him this whole time and tells him he needs to recover sensitive data from a nearby NSA listening post. So that's going to be the way he accesses the info that he lost access to. That's all he says. It's implied that it's the archive, but we're not 100% sure. Then at Havelock's abandoned hideout, after the cops get there, the team finds that he's been listening to them via emergency bands. Sydney's like, hey, that's not like him. That's something that he would only do if he was emotional. He must have been rattled by something. They managed to identify the airman that he'd been talking to, but the FBI keeps them from interrogating him. Then we find out Havelock makes it to a research vessel, which actually is a floating NSA listening post. And he is able to lock up the people there, see all of their surveillance info and archives, and is able to get the information he had lost access to. The CIA, meanwhile, is scrambling to figure out what's going on. And Bradford, who's Alfre Woodard's character, says, we're going to Alaska.
Cool.
Meanwhile, Frank is like, well, we know he left the research vessel. There's only so many roads he can go down to get away from there. Let's take a plane. So he flies a plane with Sydney in tow, and they set off to look for Havelock. The Coast Guard confirms his location, and it's pretty wild. Frank spots him. Then they swoop down in front of him like they're playing chicken. He flips his car, and all of this is happening while, again, they play a weird song. They play that song, All I Need Is the Air That I Breathe. It's slow. It's a little weird. Now, then his car is on fire. The plane lands with Sydney and Frank, and Sydney freaks out. She's crying and sobbing. She rushes to Havelock, pulls him out of the flaming wreck, and is holding him and is just emotionally shattered.
Before you continue on, I just want to say that felt like the most genuine thing that she's done in this entire series.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It really did. I think she nailed the performance there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So all of this madness has happened. They go back to headquarters. They're sort of calming down after everything that happened. Frank and Sydney are talking. He's like, well, the last loose inmate is in Oklahoma, so that's their problem now, so we can wrap up the investigation. So the FBI is about to take Havelock, and Frank insists that they let Sydney ride along. So they exchange a goodbye. She thanks Frank for believing in her, and he urges her to make her father proud. After this, Frank goes home, and unsurprisingly, the house is empty. There's a note that the family is staying with, I believe it was her sister. So he's having kind of a sad, pensive moment at home, and then all of a sudden, he realizes something. We see flashbacks to Sydney's earlier comments about the Maryland photo. We see little flashbacks at different things she said throughout the series. You know how the photo's 25 years old. The girl could be her age. Frank looks closer at the photo, heads to Google. He does some research. He finds photos of a young Sydney. He finds photos of her father. He looks at the newspaper photo and realizes that is her and her father.
God damn.
Yep. And realizes that Thiago worked for her father. So he calls his teammate and he's like, Sydney lied. She knows Thiago. He was working for her, not Havelock. She downed the plane. She's been running everything.
Damn.
Which, that's a good instinct. I don't know if he has fully the proof, but,
Right.
I'm sure it's true.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Sydney, who's in the transport van, just staring at Havelock with cold, unreadable eyes.
God damn.
Yeah. And guess what? I was right.
Yes.
I called it. like
Oh
a
my
couple
God.
episodes ago. I was like, I don't know. I think
Actually,
Sydney's
that's
behind it.
like my first item that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Get into it.
Yeah. Before I get into my thoughts on the episode, I did want to congratulate you on your prediction that Sydney is not the victim and that, in fact, she orchestrated the plane crash. I honestly assume she could have unintentionally been responsible or something like that, leading to Havelock to orchestrate this escape. Maybe something else Sydney did that drove him apart, like is bad or worse than the situation they had with the Ukrainian aid worker in the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy when we had that reveal, and for my sympathy for her to turn into disgust, just realizing she was so calculated with executing her plan the entire time.
I know.
Oh my God. But overall, man, I was really happy to get the episode we got. I really thought it was probably one of the best, if not the best so far.
Agree.
I mean, we finally get the reveal on Frank's daughter's death. We really needed this, given that I kind of did feel at my limit with the whole being dragged
I know.
on with all that stuff, like from episode to episode. Oh my God, what an amazing scene. And of course, they had to cast the cutest little girl for this
She
role.
was adorable.
So it absolutely crush all of the viewers.
It was sad, man. I was sad. I knew it was coming, and damn.
Yeah, it's like to the point where I almost felt slightly bad for doubting this show.
Aw.
I feel like the reasoning behind why Frank feels responsible was really well written. It wasn't something that was too far-fetched. It made sense, and it's arguably such an avoidable scenario that his family wouldn't be able to forgive him over it.
At least not that fast.
Yeah, so I can say I did think it was worth the wait. And while someone could argue Luke shouldn't feel so responsible, I think it's in line with how a real teenager would feel in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the whole pacing of the reveal that Thiago wasn't working for Havelock, but actually working for Sydney was just chef's kiss. Like, it's like the writers knew the viewers would feel some frustration over the lack of reveals at this point of the season and give us another to like cap off the episode, on top of the reveal of his daughter's death and everything. So, I mean, have I enjoyed the entire ride so far? No, definitely not. But I can appreciate what feels like an attempt to pivot from what we might have assumed the show is going to be, which I feel was more of like a bad guy of the week show than this, which I feel like is more like spy thriller taking place in a remote Alaskan town. So,
yes.
Weirdly, I got to thinking about whether or not Sydney profiled Frank in the course of orchestrating all this. Or like, if it was something else, like how remote the location was or other conditions that made her choose to execute this plan in Fairbanks.
She does say in this episode, he starts to tell her about his daughter. She says, I read your file.
Yeah. So
and
I guess
of course he would be vulnerable to this given that he's holding guilt about something.
And I think she's skilled enough as like a CIA agent to kind of glean what could have potentially happened with Frank back in Chicago without even, even if she didn't have details of it, because I assume like nobody knows what actually happened.
Yeah.
Or he would have been held accountable already.
Right.
But I don't know. I could kind of see her choosing Frank as like the guy who would be her in, because although he really does regret contributing to his daughter's death, another part of him felt like he still did it for, the right reasons, like the withholding the evidence,
Yeah, he did seem, when he was explaining it to his family, he was like, well, I had to do it. He seemed pretty straightforward about why he did it. So
yeah. And so I can't really decide if I feel like Sydney is a criminal mastermind because of being able to concoct and execute this huge plan, or if she's just dumber than she thinks, because by making the comment that she did about the little girl in the picture potentially being her age right now, like, why even draw attention at all to it? Like, I thought that was a funny detail.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. I think part of it, I think sometimes people conceal something by saying out loud what they think other people might suspect.
Yeah, I guess.
And saying it like in a disdainful way. But yeah, that did.
But yeah, like I just
man.
think it didn't make sense in this specific case because you're speaking to another law enforcement person who might have that sort of insight. So yeah, it was weird to me. But
I also just looked at this episode. When I thought back on it, I was like, literally everyone from the very beginning has been like, hey, Frank, Sydney's a criminal. She's going to be indicted. Don't believe her.
I know. It's like the easiest answer, and like the show is just written in a way where the viewer doesn't want to accept that as like the right one, you know?
Yep.
But
and he's queued up to believe something like that because he's also hiding something and feels misunderstood.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to end on. I want to apologize for dunking on Sarah before because given how pissed off Frank was at her for withholding evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely has done the same, and it arguably resulted in something way fucking worse.
What the hell? Come on, Frank. Man.
Well, yeah, that's it. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Well, I can't wait to see what happens. You know, it felt like an episode that's like the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
But we do have, you know, quite a few episodes left. And my suspicion is that the information that Havelock is looking for is probably not the archive, but something that would could be used against Sydney. So I guess we'll see.
Ashley!
Sushi! What time is it?
It's our favorite time of the podcast lately.
Chair company time.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So gear up, my friends. We've got episode 6 titled Happy Birthday, a Friend. All right. So the episode starts in Sedona, where Ron's boss, Jeff, is hanging out with a circle of ultra-rich, douchey dudes doing a whole howling at the moon thing. The main guy there shows off his $1 million watch. You know, he pours out expensive booze and says it's for the ancient lands. And then he lectures Jeff that this is real life, not designing boxes where people buy things. And Jeff, okay, you can see the look in his eyes. It's the insane look that Ron had when he was embarrassed.
Yes.
And feels like he can't accept embarrassment.
Good point.
Is going to take action in crazy ways to overcompensate for embarrassment.
Yep.
And so what happens is he suddenly needs to make his job seem more creative and important in order to impress his lame Sedona friends.
Or he thinks that anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think they care as much as he thinks they care.
I don't think they care about... No.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Ron goes to a Life of the Party class that we learned about last episode to investigate Maggie S. The instructor basically admits that the program's a scam, and she says that he can talk to the people there if he wants. Ron sees a blonde woman who he recognizes from the Tekka board photos, and he tries to find out if she knows any info. And she's just like, a lot of things go on here. I'm stuck on level 5 because they say I'm too dumb to advance to level 6. And then she starts panicking and melts down crying and is like, can you help me get to level 6?
Oh my God.
So Ron is understandably a little disoriented. He turns to a red-haired guy and starts showing him a photo. And as soon as he sees it, the guy bolts. So Ron starts chasing him down. He's sort of like, I don't know, like he falls down and he holds him down and is trying to take photos of him while the guy covers his face. The guy runs away. Okay. So then we cut to the office where Ron is making awkward small talk about muffins with the woman whose skirt he accidentally looked up. He asks her, is that a chocolate chip muffin? She says, I don't know. And then smashes the entire thing and starts rooting through it. It's insane. Then the camera pans out and we realize that they're being observed by the HR lady and that weird monitor observer guy that was hired out to help them with this. Then the lady who with the upskirt situation, she asks for a napkin. And when there isn't one, she just sort of, I don't know how to say this politely. She services her fingers. She cleans her fingers by like, it's unpleasant.
Yeah, it's in my notes too.
Yeah, and she looks directly at Ron. It's weird. Man. And then HR is like, well, I think this is good. Why don't we close the case? But the observer, he refuses. So then we've got Ron and Mike next are analyzing these blurry photos of the red-haired guy.
Yeah.
Ron then is summoned by Jeff, who's still rattled by his Sedona humiliation, now wants the entire company to redesign the mall to be artsy, real, and Sedona-inspired, even though he can't articulate a single concrete idea. So Ron reports this to his coworkers and they start asking him all these questions about specifics. And he's like, every question you've asked me, I've asked him. And he got more and more frustrated and said he'll know it when he sees it. Everyone panics. If you've ever worked in an office, you've experienced this feeling. Then at home, Ron finds a strange middle-aged man named Richard with like a long beard and long gray hair. He's cooking in the kitchen at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Barb explains that he's Tara's friend who's helping Seth, quote, with a project. We still don't know what the project is, but it's in the basement and it sounds weird.
Yeah.
Seth comes upstairs and is acting a little loopy. I think he's weirder than...
Yeah, than normal.
Yeah,
sure.
weirder than normal.
Noticeably, yeah.
Yeah. And he says he ran into a friend who is inviting to his birthday party that coming weekend. Said his friend mentioned how cool it was at his birthday when he was a kid when Ron did the Pee Wee Herman dance to tequila, and then they all started doing it with him. And then Richard downstairs yells something about fang problems, and his son responds with a really weird voice. Okay, side note.
Yeah.
Also, Ron's like, is that the guy who like beat up his grandma? And he's like,
oh yeah.
That's like, no.
He was talking about, I think Ron was actually referring to like when Seth was talking about the person he wanted to invite.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So he's like, didn't he do something to his grandma? And Seth's like, what? Oh, yeah. He trapped her in a tub by putting a mattress on top of it.
It wasn't the same person, though. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was another student.
Yeah.
Not the same one, yeah.
And he just acts like this nothing. He goes back down to the basement.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Who knows? So the next day, Ron's team presents a mood board based on the Sedona photos. Jeff hates it. He's like drifting in and out mentally.
Oh, my God.
Ron gives a suggestion. He's like, we were thinking we could have a CBGB's awning. You know, like from the era where everything was cool and who cares?
Yeah.
And Jeff really dismissively is like, Ron, just keep everything under budget and we'll figure out the vibe.
Yeah.
So Jeff's Sedona humiliation turns the whole office like into chaos. Everyone's freaking out, working late hours.
Wild.
Ron's weird coworker with the bubble necklace and being trapped under a fridge. He says he's going to dress up in a costume to boost morale.
Jesus Christ.
And they're all just trying to figure out how to predict what Jeff wants.
Oh, my God. I fucking hate Douglas, man.
Douglas? Yeah, and the mistakes party, too. Oh, my God. Douglas is a... Oof. All right. So that night, Ron is like looking through the photos of the red-haired guy, and he notices he has a tattoo on his arm. It's like 4 straight lines in different colors. Meanwhile, a coworker barges into his office, panicked because she's like, I really gotta go. I got a doctor's appointment. There's something I'm concerned about.
Oh my God, yeah.
She's like, I was playing with a magnet near my stomach, and then I felt something moving inside of me. I think they dropped a screwdriver in me when they gave me an appendectomy last year. Okay. So Ron's trying to deal with her while Mike is calling him over and over and over again. He's also on speakerphone with a vendor who's like, what's this I hear about the project being completely redesigned?
Yeah, it's a mess.
Ron is losing it. And then all of a sudden, the woman sits down at his desk and a clump of paper clips start moving towards her stomach as if it's magnetized.
Yeah.
Ron finally answers the phone to Mike, who says, I'm outside the office. Come out. So he goes out and he tells Ron that the bug they found, not like a listening bug like in our last show. This is like an actual bug.
Yeah.
The one they found in his house is Hungarian. And that's the same place where Tekka chair parts come from.
Oh, right. They got that weird guy Ben in the back seat.
Weird guy Ben is like, the only other place they found bugs like this recently is in Delaware County.
Oh, my God.
And that town has a government building.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike tries to convince Ron to travel there over the weekend, but Ron says, I can't. It's Seth's birthday and he's having a party. Mike is like, oh, I'd really like to go to that party.
Oh, my God.
Ron explains, it's just for kids and maybe their parents. Mike's like, I'd really like to go to that party. And he keeps pushing. And Ron's like, no. So then... next thing we see at the office, he goes to try to talk to Jeff because his boss asks him, like, hey, you got to talk Jeff down. And Jeff ends up bullying him into allowing him to go to Seth's birthday party over the weekend to work things out. So there's a lot of birthday party drama. Then, so we go to the party here. And as the party starts, things are, normal-ish. Seth's chatting with friends. People are enjoying food. And Ron has a conversation with Natalie, who asks him about his, Tekka mission. And he tells her about the lines he discovered, the tattoo, and that the colors on the tattoo, it turns out, are also colors that are on the Red Ball Global Marketing website and the Delaware County website.
Damn.
Yeah. She is like, whoa, that's interesting. You should sneak into it. I don't know how she turned around here, but she seems like genuinely interested.
Yeah.
And she encourages him to sneak into the city hall because she thinks he'll be able to get information on who designed all these websites with those colors. And she's like, oh, look, they have an event tomorrow on Sunday. You should go.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't know about that. So then the party takes a turn. Jeff shows up and it's awful. He's brought Tahine to rim glasses for them to drink mezcal. He's really butting in. He's insufferable. Ron is stressed. And then, of course, Mike Santini shows up too with a big gift. He tries to go into the party. Ron says, no, you can't come into the party. You can't come into the party. And Mike's like, well, just take the gift. Ron finally snaps. He takes the gift and tells Mike, you gotta fucking go.
Yeah.
So inside, Seth and his friends start doing the Pee-wee dance, and they're trying to get Ron to join in. But Ron is up to his ears in stress. He's got his boss there. He just fought off Mike and is probably worried he's going to come back in, and he can't deal with it. So he refuses, and they keep pushing. And eventually he's like, guys, I'm not into it. Put another song in. Seth doesn't take this so well. He goes into Ron's office and pours, I think, bourbon, like a lot of bourbon into his solo cup. Then, next thing we know, it's time for the happy birthday song.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They're all singing to him, presenting a cake, and then Seth pukes on the floor.
Oh, my God.
And then this weird dude, it's always weird dudes in this show, but this weird dude takes the cake, sees the puke on the floor and goes, oh, and then takes the cake and places it on top of the puke.
Oh, my God.
And said, don't worry, guys, it's covered.
Yeah, because that was you wanted to use the cake to do that. That's a great idea.
It's awful. So, then as the, chaos settles, Ron finally goes and opens Mike's gift, which is a chocolate Kong, like a chocolate King Kong, I guess.
Yes.
And he reads the note, which says like, I don't really know you, but if you're anything like your dad, I know you're a good person. Signed, A friend. Goddamn, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, so here's the other thing. Jeff, while he was at the party, tells Ron, you know what? This party isn't really for me. It's kind of a kid's thing. Ron's
Oh,
like, yeah,
my God.
I know.
Fucking
And he's like, come to the job site tomorrow and we'll work it out. Ron's like, tomorrow's Sunday. Jeff's like, what are you doing? Going to church? Ron is beyond himself, but he goes. So the next morning, he shows up and Jeff has dragged the entire staff to be on site. And then they discover there's all these men there, and they've built all
like
these
adult ass, like middle-aged dudes, man, or older.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Oh my God!
Overnight, they've built these wooden structures.
Yeah,
and they're there. They've got like, what do they call it? They call it a toy crawler car.
Yeah.
They're trying to get it to like go on a track that they made.
Oh my God!
And Ron just loses at it. He goes over to them. He's screaming at them to leave. Jeff goes up to Ron and grabs his arm, and Ron instinctively shoves him and yells, "Get the fuck off of me!" Which, fuck yeah. He looks stunned, and then he just storms away. So as he's walking away, Ron gets a call that says, "I think I'm ready to do something to your family."
God damn.
And Ron just snaps back and is like, then fucking do it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Then Ron heads to the event at the city hall, which, guess what, guys? It's a 1950s cop hop, which is like a bizarre, like Elvis-themed town festival where everyone dresses like they're 1950s cops.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ron manages to sneak into City Hall looking for records. He manages to get into a records room. He looks at the boxes and suddenly goes like, what am I looking for? Yeah, this is not a well thought out plan. But he's going through the papers, and then an Elvis impersonator comes in and confronts him. Ron distracts him with he just goes, I'm Debbie's brother. He's like, what? He's like, I'm Debbie's brother. He's like, what do you mean? Why are you here? He's like, I have to show you something. And then all of a sudden he just throws all the papers in this Elvis impersonator's face and he bolts. So he's like running throughout City Hall trying to get away. He goes into a room inside another room. And then finally he gets into this large room and we see his face before we see what's in there. He looks like shocked, happy, vindicated.
Yes.
And then we see what he's looking at, and it's a room filled wall to wall, packed with neatly organized Tekka chairs.
Oh my God.
He smiles. The episode ends.
Ugh.
You know, this is a good week for things coming together.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Sush, why don't you tell me? There's so much, guys.
Yes.
It's so hard to even get in all of the funny things that happen. It broke my heart to leave some of it out. There's so much weird shit.
There is, yeah. Yeah, I honestly have to highlight things by sounding more exasperated than loud because I don't want to drive away our subscribers with just like constant screaming during our discussion of the show. But let me start off with week 6 of Is Ron Crazy Watch. This week, I can confidently say absolutely not, because Ron gets vindication this week. Seriously. Like Howard Douglas, Jamie, or Amanda, not the weirdest people in Ron's office. Like, we got a lady who has magnets in her gut. What the fuck? Like, even Natalie is a little weird in this episode, like encouraging Ron to continue down this rabbit hole with the whole Tekka conspiracy. Oh my God. But anyway, yeah, it's hilarious how Jeff, Lou Diamond Phillips's character, seems to be the least cool person out of his whole friend group. All those guys seem like douchey, backpatting losers. So it's like, it makes it even worse that he's like the least cool person out of all.
Yeah, they think he's the loser.
I know.
See this one guy's haircut. I don't even know how to describe it. One of them looks nuts.
Yeah. But anyway, it's crazy how much the dude from his friend group saying that he hit a nerve, like turned Lou Diamond Phillips' like whole view on the new mall upside down, and like how self-conscious he is about it. Like, he literally has no clue what his friends actually meant even. I know. All he's really doing is just swiping through pics of architecture on his phone that he simply says is cool and like forces everyone who works under him to go back to the drawing board for this shit. I loved how they showed Ron getting progressively more and more pissed off over all this by like flashing through all the high anxiety moments that we've seen from like the previous episodes. Yeah. Like when he flipped out with the guy with a dent on his head.
Yeah. When he says, that's right. When he's like, Ron, just figure out the budget. Then we see like a flash of him punching the dent head guy. Yeah. So, tension's definitely building throughout the episode.
For sure. Ron finding and showing up to the life of the party class was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Especially how the instructor is just upfront about how it's basically a scam. The whole HR monitoring the breakfast scene is weird for so many reasons. Like, how creepy is Amanda with breaking up the muffin, like essentially just probing at it with her fingers.
It's very
And then
creepy.
licking her fingers sensually, like while staring at Ron in the eye. And then on top of that, how strange the male HR consultant seems. Surprise, he's actually weirder than he actually seems in that scene. Like the whole situation with that male HR consultant killed me.
Yes.
You got him sitting in a recliner in his office later on, nestled under a blanket like he's made this office his own.
The office looks like a wonderful living room.
Right, and you think that's like the end of it, but then there's a whole ass scene with him introducing his parents to everyone and giving them a tour of the office.
They wanted to see where he worked, Sushi. What's wrong with that?
Oh my God.
Nothing weird with that.
Yeah, and then that dude who was at Ron's house that Seth was his project, like, he scats at Ron when he walks past them. That completely caught me off guard. It's just wild that apparently this dude has been around before because Barb mentions it. Why is your teenage son meeting dudes that look older than his dad and working on projects with them at 1 a.m.? He really reminded me of the guy who played Santa Claus on I Think You Should Leave.
I was wondering if it was him.
No, that was Biff Whiff, and apparently he passed away like this year, back in February. So R.I.P. Biff Whiff, a.k.a. Santa Claus, who doesn't want to talk about Christmas and that stuff.
Tara's also eating. She's on a special diet where she's basically eating live pickles is what she says.
Oh my God, there's like so much that happens in this episode. I didn't even remember to note that down.
It's
but like
so nuts.
I did have like the exchange about Todd Graves, Seth's friend, who quote did something to his grandma. That was pretty funny because they go back and forth for a bit before they realize who it is. Like they just continue like it's nothing. It's uncomfortable how much Mike Santini wanted to attend Seth's birthday party, and I have no idea how it became a hot event that weekend when it's a goddamn teenager's birthday party, because apparently LDP, Lou Diamond Phillips, also wants to show up too so they can discuss work shit. Like, fuck that, man. Hell no. This party should absolutely be limited to Seth's family and friends, and the only other adults outside his family allowed there should be like parents of his friends, period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to end with two things. One, I fucking hate Douglas, and no, I don't want to go into detail about why. And two, I kind of want a chocolate Kong now.
Oh my God. Oh, you know what I'm thinking about now is Kong dogs.
Yeah, Kong dog. Korean corn dogs.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Well, now I'm fascinated by them.
All right, Ashley, what do we got coming up in the week ahead? What exciting. Excitement. Yeah.
So next week is Thanksgiving. Yes. And we're going to be visiting my family. So instead of doing our traditional episodes, we're going to do one where I share some of the movies on my big list of movies to watch with my family. So every year I put together a list and I'll share the ones that I'm going to watch with them and also some that will work for your family.
Yeah, we'll work out the details. I think we're planning on trying to release that midweek since, we kind of want to get it out there before Thanksgiving. So maybe on Wednesday we'll get it out. Yeah.
All right. So what do we have for wrestling?
Oh, my God. Before I start the wrestling coverage for this week, I just want to take a moment to quickly thank all the subscribers across all the different podcasting platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and social media. Even though we haven't been doing this for a long time, we're always discussing like how to improve the overall product and process. One of them we've definitely been talking about is breaking out the wrestling coverage on its own podcast.
Yes.
it just made sense for us to do this. And I think it'll both improve our turnaround for the content for wrestling, as well as for movies and stuff too. So with that said, we'll be splitting Oh No Yeah onto its own podcast starting the week December 14th. That will be the week that follows John Cena's last match at Saturday night's main event. You'll be able to access it on all the same platforms under our We Should Watch That account, or it could potentially be under We Should Pod That on some platforms. I'll be mostly the one on the recordings. We might occasionally have Ashley on, or maybe, hopefully, other guests too. So we'll see.
I'll be there being like, ooh, I liked that outfit, or like, ooh, that was badass.
Yeah. But I'm also simplifying the format for the wrestling coverage moving forward. You'll actually get a preview of this when I switch over to it in our next regular episodes, which should be on like December 5th and the 12th.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
With that said, I'm really going to have to power through wrestling coverage this week because, I think we ran a bit longer because of all the special stuff that we got coming up. Anyway, SmackDown 14th, Albany, New York. Promos and drama. Ashley, as usual, feel free to jump in whenever you feel the need to.
Oh, yes, I will.
All right. We're officially in War Games season. The show kicks off. Yeah, the show kicks off with a video recap of the Women's Tag Team Championship match on Raw from earlier in the week and the events that following that seemingly draw the battle lines for War Games. We see Rhea Ripley enter with Io Sky, once again doing her cute jump during Rhea's entrance pyro, which I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of.
I love it.
Rhea and Io cut a promo to basically confirm the women's teams for War Games, giving her thoughts on what happened on Raw, followed by an introduction of their teammates, Alexa and Charlotte. I can't say her name like that anymore because I was recently informed that sometimes it sets off people's smart speakers. So I'll do my best. Ours. Yeah, I'll do my best to refer to her as Bliss. We get the introduction of Bliss and Charlotte as their teammates. Bliss gets on the mic and she sounds ready to take on the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax and Lash Legend at War Games. She passes the mic to Charlotte for confirmation, but it doesn't go as expected. Charlotte reassures Bliss that they're genuine friends, but also that she believes her and Rhea have too much history, too much bad blood for them to team up. She ends up walking out, leaving the other three women in the ring. Damn. We get another video package about John Cena's career as part of the marketing campaign for his final match at Saturday night's main event on the 13th in Washington, D.C. I know sometimes I complain about video packages promoting upcoming events, but I think these work simply because they're not rehashing the events leading up to the event itself, really, but more like a look back on Cena's career, so they're cool. We get a backstage moment with Nick Aldis speaking on the phone with security, who we soon find is being asked to escort Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed out of the venue. Paul Heyman clarifies that he's basically there on business, looking for the next talent to add to their team for War Games, who he's allowed to recruit from any WWE brands, including SmackDown. Security arrives. We soon find that Cody's also there. He wants to know why Heyman's there. Heyman responds that he involved himself in Vision business by appearing on Raw, but Cody reminds him that they're on SmackDown and tells him he's only interested if they're there for a fight. Reed doesn't back down, so the situation escalates with Paul Heyman coaxing Cody into a title match. Nick Aldis initially hesitates, but eventually confirms this as the finale match. So, we're supposed to believe WWE is a family-friendly program, but we got R-Truth back again, talking loads with Nick Aldis backstage, while also referring to his balls again. You know, like the ones being used, like to select who's going to be in the Cena tournament. Look,
it's too much.
I just want them to stop making Truth look like an idiot every fucking week. It's stupid. Like you spent all this time like getting the guy back after a fan backlash, and like now this is what you're doing to him. I think it's demeaning.
It's very demeaning.
Yeah, but you know the upside is we have Chelsea Green to save us from that travesty. She really seems back to her old self, now that she has the U.S. title again. She comes out in a robe and face stickers, like,
I love it.
all self-care style with Elba, too, who has a curler in her hair, even though she's still wearing the suit. It's hilarious. But yeah, Chelsea complains to Nick Aldis about not getting pyro for title wins. He reluctantly agrees on a celebration for her title win at next week's SmackDown. I'm really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, we don't get to walk away unscathed without making another reference to R-Truth's balls, which Nick Aldis apparently just passes on to Green at the end of their chat. I like this tournament, but let's just drop the balls jokes, guys. Come on.
R-Truth is funnier than this.
Yeah, exactly. After a few weeks of Sami Zayn pretty much hanging out backstage, he finally graces the crowd with his presence. We get a video recap of his problems with Solo and the MFT within the recent weeks as Sami heads into the ring, where he thinks back on his time since coming over to SmackDown. Overall, it seems like he's accomplished what he set out to do on the Blue Brand, but has found the last few weeks dealing with Solo and the MFT to be a challenge since he hasn't been medically cleared and, because of it, hasn't been able to help anyone being victimized by them. He shouts that he's done taking a back seat while all this is happening and calls Solo out to the ring. Solo comes out talking a bunch of shit to Sami, basically telling him he doesn't know anything about loyalty, blah, blah, blah. He motions to the MFT and they approach the ring. He follows behind, continuing to talk shit and hilariously getting his foot caught on the rope while trying to enter the ring. This gets even funnier because we find Solo assumes that Sami still isn't medically cleared, but come on, like, we know better, right? We obviously don't at all believe Sami is like breaking after just putting up with 2 weeks of not being able to help out. So, nah, man, like, the dude follows rules, and we soon find out he's there because he's medically clear now, and he also brought along with him the people who he wanted to help out in the past few weeks: Shinsuke, Motor City Machine Guns, and Rey Fenix. So,
Yay.
yeah, they force the MFTs and Solo to retreat. A little later on, following these events, we see Solo demanding that Nick Aldis set a match between him and Sami, but Aldis rejects the idea and instead sets a 5 versus 5 Survivor Series style match between him and the MFTs versus Sami, Shinsuke, Rey Fenix, and Motor City Machine Guns on the SmackDown Before Survival Series War Games. Right after this, we see the Wyatt 6 logo flash on the screen for a moment as Solo and Aldis are leaving. And who do we see in the background? It's Uncle Howdy, basically reminding everyone that Solo and MFTs still have a match against them at some point, just probably not until the PLE because scarcity. WWE, we get it. Bad guys sneak attack their opponents unprovoked. I don't really know how necessary it was to show Rhea, Io, and Bliss backstage during the whole incident with Charlotte when it's just a setup for them to get assaulted by Nia, Lash, and the Kabuki Warriors. I want to stop saying this, but we don't need so much reinforcement that these wrestlers hate each other and are going to have a match at an upcoming event. The match is set, so they should only be looking to add to their teams at this point. But no, we have to be reminded by having the heels do the same thing week after week. Maybe don't call yourselves creative if you just repeat the same goddamn types of scenarios week after
snap.
week. Sorry. Just had to get that one in. It was like too easy. Anyway, it's weird and slightly amusing that it seems like WWE is finally acknowledging viewer complaints. But really, I feel like it's more like they're trying to fix everything because they don't want to have to spend time being told what they're doing wrong. We get an announcement for the next SmackDown matches for the Last Time Is Now tournament. That's Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed and Penta versus Finn Balor. We also get a follow-up backstage interview with Carmelo. He immediately addresses his beef with The Miz. So yeah, more confirmations is going to drag on. He continues on addressing Cena, stating that if he makes it to him at the end, he, quote, won't miss. He gets interrupted by Bronson Reed heading to the ring for his match against Cody. he stops to say that he's on his way to end Cody, then end John Cena's career, but after he ends Mello's next week.
Oh, okay.
I don't doubt it because this stupid feud with The Miz will never end, so whatever. We get a video from Aleister Black and Selena. I guess we're supposed to know exactly how Damien's last video or something ended because Aleister literally just starts talking about fear, like he's responding to Damien and says, quote, "The only person who fears anything is you?" After showing Priest attacking him, like, how does this logic make any? How does this make any sense? Then Zelina goes into some speech about how they forced Damien to, quote, break his code.
Like Batman?
Like, what? It's cool that she thinks they may have corrupted Damien somehow, but they literally don't clarify how. I know Damien is a goth babyface, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's known for having a code that he's always referring or adhering to. Like when Black concludes by basically claiming that he became the one thing that no one wanted when he came back to the WWE, which is apparently everyone's enemy.
Whatever, dude.
I get these personas that these two are playing, so it's not that there's any confusion about that. We get they're dark and intense. The problem is that we essentially have to do research because both of them are referring to statements made by David Priest from like past weeks. That would have been fine if it were typical and we got like some kind of video recap or something, because WWE is known for constantly beating us over the head with the same information and incidents so we don't forget what's going on. So like, why in this situation are we just, pun intended, left in the dark when these two are performing this weird maintenance video on their rivalry? Like,
man, it's goth against goth crime.
Anyway, let's get into the matches.
Let's do it.
First one is first round. The last time is now tournament. Match number 1 between Jey Uso and The Miz. Not a bad match. If nothing, it was certainly believable since I can comfortably say that Jey has sort of risen to The Miz's level as a singles competitor. I will admit, though, that The Miz seemed to have cleaner move execution, but obviously part of this is how well Jey sells, especially the sequence where Jey is on top of the turnbuckle and Miz pulls him down while delivering knees to his face, followed by a DDT. Amazingly sold by Jey remaining upright on his head for a few seconds. Sure, like we can't deny Jey's been sloppy in some of his recent matches, but I honestly think this isn't as big of a deal as like people are making it out to be. Part of me even like thinks that all the backlash could have like low-key caused creative to introduce a slight pivot in Jey's character, because it's just interesting how he seemingly has botched even more since the backlash increased. Like the more times I watched him supposedly botch that Samoan drop on The Miz off the top ropes, the more it actually looked like it meant to be that way. We know Triple H and creative act like they don't care what the fans say, but like, yeah, we know that that's always, that's not really the case. Like, so I don't think we should, always be so ready to accept what we believe to see as like truths in this post-Unreal era. I think if we put everyone else under the same lens, we have to acknowledge that The Miz's big kick to the back of the head to Jey while he was on the ropes during this match was completely whiffed. So, the commentary referred to it as like a big kick. It like definitely was not big and almost not even a kick.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I can't deny that I feel some disappointment with the outcome of the match. Not necessarily because Jey won, but more because The Miz didn't, which probably means like the whole thing with Carmelo is just going to keep getting dragged on. And WWE will probably continue to make Jey look bad to continue fan engagement through frustration. Jey wins that one, proceeds to the next round. We got a U.S. Championship Open Challenge match. Tommaso Ciampa is striking out again. This time we're backstage before the next Open Challenge match with him and the rest of DIY as they approach Nick Aldis and Ilya Dragunov. He thinks Dragunov has been unfair by passing on him as a challenger for 2 weeks in a row. But Aldis clarifies that Dragunov has final say in how he handles open challenges. Dragunov adds to that, stating that for him, it's about respect and honor. qualities that he feels a jackass like Ciampa is lacking.
Ooh.
With that said, it's obvious that Ciampa wasn't going to be happy to find out that Axiom actually was already scheduled to challenge for the U.S. title today. So these matches might be the most consistent positive aspect of SmackDown during what I feel is otherwise seemed like a time of high criticism. Given how much the men's mid-card talent is currently assigned to tag teams, I honestly think that these open challenge matches have been a good way of ensuring that these guys get some camera time as singles competitors, while also having commentary kind of provide an intro for some of them if we don't really know them that well. Axiom doesn't seem like he really gets the advantage much in the match, but neither does Dragunov. It seems like for as much abuse as he's able to deliver on Axiom, it doesn't keep the challenger down. Eventually, Axiom lands a Northern Lights suplex on Dragunov, which is enough to gain the upper hand finally. He lands several successive blows on Dragunov. Dragunov fights back, and while things start leaning his way again, Axiom eventually does land like a nasty top rope DDT on Dragunov and follows it up with a Spanish fly. We see Axiom try to prepare to deliver a golden ratio to finish Dragunov off, but unfortunately, Dragunov counters with a Torpedo Moscow, followed by an H-bomb for the win. Man, and Ciampa is like a really sore loser because after, returning from the next commercial break, we see video footage of him attacking Axiom outside the ring following his match. Yeah, but luckily Nathan Frazier runs out to help his tag team partner. I mean, does Ciampa really think this is going to get him a U.S. title shot, especially after the whole backstage moment with Dragunov and all this? Like, this guy's dumb. I mean, even Corey Graves is making fun of him, so whatever. Next match in the first round, Last Time Is Now tournament, we get Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona versus LA Knight.
Mr. Chelsea Green.
Yeah. Ashley called this the fight between two greasy men in their 40s, and she wasn't wrong. But that doesn't mean we didn't enjoy it. Like, LA Knight's a favorite of ours. I'm glad to see Matt Cardona back in WWE, even if they did make him do so using the Zack Ryder name. But given all the news around this lately, I just hope the rumors are true that he'll eventually return as Matt Cardona. Given reports that this appearance as Zack Ryder is just a one-off. But yeah, solid match. I honestly don't know if I cared who won. I was just happy to see Ryder execute his signature moves, the Broski Boot and Rough Rider, in front of some potentially new fans, and LA Knight moving on to the next round of this tournament. If we get Ryder back permanently, great. If we somehow get Matt Cardona instead, even better, even though I've read that that only happened because of like the NXT storyline with TNA. But yeah, LA Knight wins that one, proceeds on. Next match is Jade Cargill versus B-Fab. I went into this match assuming it'd probably be short and Jade would pretty much dominate. I wasn't wrong. But I did appreciate feeling like we spent at least a little time showcasing B-Fab since we haven't seen her compete much lately. It's obvious she relies more on speed and height than power. Because she quickly dodges Jade, gets a couple nice kicks in and elbows in. Regardless, still not enough. Jade just dominates with a fall-away slam, followed by a choke slam, a power bomb, taking time between each to slowly pace around the ring.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, and invite the audience to like cheer for her like she's in the Coliseum or something.
Oh my God.
She eventually stands over a down B-Fab to mock her, then finishes her off with a jaded. She's done in under 3 minutes. But I'm still not mad because this just works.
Yeah.
Michin runs into 10 to her friend, but Jade seems hell-bent trying to start shit with everyone in the women's division. They face off, and Jade shoves Michin to the floor and leaves the ring victorious. I have to point out how good the ring gear has been getting for the women's division. Are there still occasional flops? Sure, but otherwise, I've been seeing improvement as far as like designs better suiting the talents, personalities, or body types. So yeah, it's been
pants. Good. They're wearing pants.
Yes. The last match of the night, undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Bronson Reed. Just a reminder that we're less than 2 weeks away from War Games, and we have less than 10 minutes left of the show at this point. So I basically did not care at all about this because I figured it was just maintenance, an opportunity to remind fans who the men's teams are going to be for the event. I'll say that watching Reed leap at Cody, especially gut first, is pretty hilarious. He actually did this like 3 times during the match, and it's just amusing to see dudes of his size like flying at other people.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah. Both men maintain a fairly even match, but eventually it spills out of the ring. As Cody's clearing off the announce table to put Reed through it, he gets hit with a flying shoulder by Braun Breaker. Then we see Logan Paul comes in.
Yay.
Did I call out or what? They throw Cody back in the ring, continue their beatdown, but then Jay's music hits. The Usos run out to help. They take out Breaker and Paul with super kicks, then finish Paul off with a 1D, then follow up by pulling a table from under the ring. They set it up, put Paul on top, readying him for a stereo Uso splash, but suddenly Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere, pushing Jimmy off the top turnbuckle and delivers the right hand to Jay as he approaches him. The shit show proceeds with Nick Aldis coming out to yell at Paul Heyman for allowing Drew to show up when he's supposed to be suspended from the show. But like Heyman just holds the contract folio like up to Aldis's face and just keeps responding, anybody, because that's what the contract says.
Paul Heyman's so good.
I know. He's like he's at like peak Heyman, like he's at maximum Heyman in this storyline. It's great. In ring, we see Drew pick up Jay up off the mat, but it looks like Jay was recovered enough to deliver a super kick to Drew. But as he's about to follow up with a spear, Drew kicks him, and Breaker happens to return to the ring in time to spear Jay through the table that he actually set up for Drew. This leaves Jimmy, the only one from this War Games team that's still on their feet, to fend off the Visions team, who are now closing in on him in the ring. Paul knocks Big Jim out with a big right hand, but then Cody returns to the ring to fight Paul off and McIntyre. Unfortunately, McIntyre responds with a Claymore, then drags him over to the corner so Reed can follow up with a Tsunami. So, to recap the men's teams at War Games so far, it's Cody, CM Punk, and the Usos versus McIntyre, Paul, and the Browns.
See.
All right, moving on to Raw.
Raw.
17th in New York City, Madison Square Garden. Man, this was an overall amazing episode. Probably the episode I've had the least nitpicks and complaints about within recent memory. If you haven't watched a full episode of Raw in a while and you've been waiting for a good opportunity to do so, I'd say this is the one.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, let's kick it off with promos and drama. Like I said, we're at Madison Square Garden. We switch between a few different shots of the crowd and, in and around the arena and backstage for arrivals of a few of the WWE superstars. It's John Cena's final Monday Night Raw, so we get a video recap of his Intercontinental title win. And, he's going to be the one to kick off things and ring. Alicia Taylor delivers an amazing introduction for the GOAT. The crowd follows up with Cena and thank you, Cena chants. He thanks the fans in New York City and finally announces his arrival as Intercontinental Champion. He is about to take a moment to express his gratitude to the fans, but he's interrupted by Dom's music.
Yay.
Dom heads in the ring, cusses out the crowd, then starts talking shit to Cena. He then kicks off complaining about Cena being handed the IC title, claiming he works for everything. Okay, Dom, sure.
Okay, Tiny Hammer.
He demands a rematch. For a moment, I almost expected an immediate rematch based on the crowd response, but instead, Dom, says he wants to set it for War Games. Cena accepts, but since he promised the fans a match that night, he challenges Dom to a match. The Judgment Day's music hits just after that, with Finn Balor and JD McDonough coming out to join Dom to launch an unprovoked attack on Cena. Kind of weird, but okay. But Sheamus's music hits, and he runs out to help Cena. Okay. Judgment Day fights back. They get the upper hand, but then Daddy Rey Mysterio comes out to join Cena and Sheamus, forcing the Judgment Day out of the ring, resulting in the first match of the night being called. We get a recap of the tail end of SmackDown last Friday, basically drawing the battle lines for the men's teams at Survivor Series War Games. That's followed up with Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis backstage complaining about Paul Heyman's scheming. Speak of the devil, Heyman appears and apologizes for making them angry, but we know it's disingenuous because he immediately reverts to his typical Lil Stinker behavior, laughing about who he's adding to his team next as he walks away, giving both GMs the contract. Doesn't look like they're happy. Camera shoots to a few celebrities from sports and Netflix programming. Then we see some off-air footage that apparently happened during the commercial break where the Judgment Day started shit with celebrities that were like live on camera. I'm not sure if this is anything other than a cool spot WWE created or if it's a setup for other celebrity guest competitors, but hopefully not the latter. I can admit Logan Paul, that worked out. I even appreciate Jelly Roll for like giving enough of a shit to make an effort. But maybe, let's leave it for like a once in a year thing.
Or just have Bad Bunny be a regular.
Yeah, or that. Next, we have Jackie Redmond in ring to interview Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. But before that happens, we get a quick video recap of Nikki Bella's heel turn. Vaquer's music hits. She steps out, but doesn't get very far before Nikki attacks her from behind. Nikki then gets on the mic demanding a title match and for Vaquer to bow down to her. Sorry, but I just can't get past how bad Nikki's acting is. I guess it could be intentional, but man, for a heel turn that should be a huge reveal, so far it's just been falling a bit flat for me. Maybe it's a lack of enthusiasm in Nikki's delivery, or the way that she mocks Vaquer by calling her Mamacita in like a white Californian accent. Especially like finding out that Nikki is actually Latina. Like, I mean, if it's not her fault, I blame the writing because it's just really cringy.
Yeah.
Like, I totally get that her in the Divas era did get more women into wrestling, like including some of the women that are now in WWE and other wrestling promotions. But the fact that she hasn't really evolved her character outside of this heel turn is what I really think bothers me about her. Anyway, moving on, we get a video recap of events from SmackDown surrounding the developing women's teams for War Games, followed by a backstage moment where the Kabuki Warriors approach Bayley. Asuka offers to overlook their past conflicts if Bayley joins her team, but she doesn't accept. Lyra apparently witnesses this. She's about to express like how happy she is with Bayley not accepting the offer. But Bayley has another like personality change moment and berates Lyra for being so happy about everything. I'm not warming up to them, but I'll say that this is probably a better incident than some of the previous moments with the two. So whatever. Bliss, as I mentioned before, I'm going to refer to her as much as possible, gets on the mic in ring to express her disappointment and frustration over Charlotte refusing to be a part of her, Rhea, and Io's War Games team, and how betrayed she feels given that she's had Charlotte's back since they became a tag team.
Dang.
She's soon interrupted by her War Games opponents, Asuka, Kairi, Nia, Lash, who all slowly approach the ring while mocking and generally talking shit to Bliss. As they surround the ring and move in for the attack, Rhea's music hits.
Yeah.
Her and Io run out to back her up. Eventually, Bliss is left alone in the ring with Nia and Lash continuing to give her a beatdown. But suddenly, Charlotte's music hits.
Yeah.
She comes out with a kendo stick to save Bliss. She clears the opponents from the ring, has a cute moment with Bliss, Rhea, and Io, which makes it seem like Charlotte's now on board.
Yay.
On the fashion tip, I have to say that this segment is a great example of how versatile the wardrobe has been for the women's division lately.
Oh my God, yes.
For the most part, I really feel like there's been an effort to really try to fit both ring gear and more casual looks to the talent's character. Like Charlotte's outfit was definitely my favorite this time.
Yeah.
Strappy corset with baggy jeans and patches were dope. Like, having personally gone through the rave clothing trends in the late 90s and early 2000s, like, Yeah, like this really spoke to me.
Yes. And I love Naya's look where she's looking.
Yeah, she's like really
like
casual.
a cool girl, which
She
is
just
what
looks
she
like,
is.
yeah, she just looks like somebody who's also a fan. Because I think she's actually wearing like another wrestler's like.
Oh, wasn't she wearing an Eddie Guerrero shirt?
Yeah, I think she might have been wearing Eddie merch, but I don't know. It was just interesting anyway. But yeah, beyond that, all we get is like another video package about Cena's career as part of the marketing campaign for his final match at Saturday Night's main event. This one's entitled John Cena on Seeking Approval. Not going to go into detail, but overall, it's been nice to have all these leading up to the final match.
Yeah.
Let's get into the matches. Judgment Day versus John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio.
Oh my God. Yeah.
This is just a super fun match to kick off with, since it's a nice reminder of why we love wrestling. And that sometimes it's corny, but as long as that corniness fits the mood of the match, it works.
I loved it.
This match starts off with a strong start from the Judgment Day, but after Sheamus is able to break away and tag in Rey, things change a little bit. Both teams take turns, gaining the upper hand. There's a nice sprinkling of signature moves throughout until eventually the trio of Sheamus, Cena, and Rey are able to absurdly have JD, Finn, and Dom, respectively, lined up to each receive simultaneous 10 beats of Bodhrán, followed by 5 knuckle shuffles. Rey with a double 619 on Balor and McDonough. Like, dude, seriously, just go and watch the clip of it on YouTube or something. It's well worth the time. Cena, Sheamus, and Rey win.
It was so good. And man, Rey Mysterio has only been away for, I think, like 7 or 8 months, but I forgot how good he is.
Yeah, that's like he hasn't missed a beat.
He was fantastic. It was really a thrilling and funly corny match.
For sure. Let's move on. The first match of the first round of the Last Times Now tournament. Solo enters. He's waiting in ring with Tala, staring at the entrance, waiting for his mystery challenger. And yes, the Zigman is back.
Ziggy.
I just hope it's permanent, because this whole TNA WWE partnership is confusing the hell out of me when it comes to guys like him and Zack Ryder, aka Matt Cardona, and whether or not these appearances in this tournament are one-offs. Unfortunately, I think we caught WrestleLamia news today, and they said that Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth, still has an active contract with TNA, so he won't be returning. So that's kind of sucks, but whatever. I really enjoyed this match. Ziggler kicks off like a bat out of hell, selling like his life depended on it. Anytime Solo manages to mount an offense against them, fuck, man. Honestly, like my biggest takeaway from this match is how much I miss the over-the-top energy of Dolph Ziggler being on WWE. Because even though this match was short, it felt like it was worth every second. Final note. Should we just assume that all these mystery competitors are likely to lose their matches?
Yeah, really?
Like, I don't know if there's any others planned, but this is the second one in a row, so I guess we'll see.
Dang.
Moving on. Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree. Honestly, this is probably the match I was most looking forward to tonight. Maxine, in my opinion, has done such a great job building her skill set in the ring. Even though they're kayfabe enemies, like, Becky really deserves praise for how well she's not only prepared Maxine, but also sold during their matches against each other as of late. I know I criticized WWE for poor writing or other missteps, but regardless, I'm still a fan. So just know I'll continue to praise them for decisions that have worked out really positively. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because I feel like either you're someone who's enjoyed Maxine's progress lately or you don't care. But if you identify with the former, it's probably worth spending the time to watch it in full.
Yeah.
I guess this week I get to celebrate my own prediction being right too. Because sure enough, AJ Lee returns during this match, revealing she's been the one helping Maxine prepare. She comes skipping out like she usually does. She distracts Becky long enough for her to turn around and get a crossbody from Maxine. I mean, you gotta appreciate how hilariously absurd Becky is as a heel, because AJ literally motioned for her to like look behind. Like, it's pure comedy. Yeah.
Really enjoying it lately. It took me a while to get on
like
board.
Becky's character has been getting amazingly good just because it's so absurd.
Yes.
But she's so committed to it. And it's
the more
like,
absurd, the better.
yeah, like good acting, I have to say. It's like so extra that you can't help but enjoy it for that aspect of it. So yeah. Also, obviously, congrats to Maxine for becoming the new women's Continental champion. Later on backstage, we get a cute moment with Jackie Redmond checking in with Maxine and AJ. They're celebrating a win. The rest of Alpha Academy arrive to celebrate with Maxine as Rhea approaches AJ to presumably ask her to be on the War Games team.
Ooh.
We don't actually get a confirmation, so I guess we'll have to hold on for now. All right, moving on to the next match in the first round, Last Time Is Now tournament. Javon Evans versus Gunther.
Oh, man.
I had a feeling that this would be a great match going into it because, man, these two guys are incredible. Who I feel like the company and fans have a vested interest in seeing both of these guys main event. Like, they appeal to different types of fans. You know, Javon for people who enjoy like more fast-paced, high-flying stuff, or Gunther for those who prefer like more old-school technique and power. It's just another great match where a lot happens, so much that it's seriously difficult to pick out specific moments. But I will say that I really appreciated Gunther selling Evans as a considerable competitor for him.
Yeah.
Even for somebody at his level, by like really looking winded for the later half of the match, like it was good. Gunther wins with the sleeper hold on Evans, but Evans goes down like a champ. Like so much so that for a moment I actually thought Gunther was going to stick around for him to recover and like applaud him on the effort, but that didn't happen. This would normally be reserved for the final match of the night that I'm about to go into, but we are so deep in the run-up to War Games that I guess WWE figures that there's a better way for them to spend the time. Like, I almost agree with them in this case, because even without a match, the energy and excitement is definitely at an all-time high during this obvious build-up for the men's War Games match. If you enjoy WWE for things like consecutive crowd pops and surprise entrances, the last 17 minutes of this week's Raw were definitely for you. Let me just get into it. We get what I'm dubbing Team Vision heading into the ring. The Bronze and Logan Paul approach, with Drew McIntyre joining them shortly after. Heyman introduces each of the men in typical Paul Heyman fashion, following up with a claim that it's the greatest team in history for War Games. CM Punk's music hits soon after. He enters, followed by the Usos and Cody Rhodes, all heading towards the ring. They surround Team Vision, eventually resulting in an all-out brawl in and around the ring. The camera shoots to Logan Paul at one point. Him and CM Punk are going at it one-on-one in the ring. As Punk's about to deliver a GTS, Brock Lesnar's music hits, marking his return and arrival at Madison Square Garden. He heads in ring. Punk tries to attack him as he's heading through the ropes, but Brock is just too much. He's too fresh. Ends up hitting him with a suplex. Cody tries to intervene next. He eats 2 suplexes for involving himself. Like, Brock ends up there standing alone in the middle of the ring at the end. The credits actually start rolling. We see him walk over to greet Heyman, thinking it's over. All of a sudden, Roman Reigns' music hits. He approaches the ring and stands face to face with Brock. Brock has a few words to say to him, but immediately following that up with an attack. But Roman happens to be able to counter with a Superman punch, driving him out of the ring. Security runs out to break the 2 men apart. Then Bronson Reed sneaks out back in the ring, attacks Roman from behind, continues the brawl. As Reed's about to set up for a tsunami, Roman recovers, delivers a Superman punch to him, knocking him off the top turnbuckle, out of the ring. We see Punk go after Team Vision with a kendo stick.
Oh my God.
Then, in what felt like a flashback to the Attitude Era, we get NYPD stepping in too.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Police intervention. Hilarious. But this doesn't seem to stop things as Roman spears Reed through the barrier, along with one of New York's finest.
Oh my God.
That's it for Raw. It's crazy.
Oh, it was a good one.
Oh my God. So yeah, upcoming events. We got AEW Full Gear coming up on the 22nd, which I may cover a little bit on our next full podcast episode.
Who?
But yeah, I'll definitely be covering Survivor Series War Games on that one because that is on Saturday the 29th. So yeah, Ashley, take us out.
Yeah, so as we mentioned before, we'll be taking a break from our normal weekly podcast next week, but we will have that special one on movies to watch with your family over the holidays. Make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform so you'll be notified when the new episode comes out. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a lot of great movies, really some good wrestling this week.
Yeah, and TV too.
Absolutely.
Damn. Good week for entertainment.
Entertainment, indeed.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. Please, we'd love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review. You can follow us as We Should Watch That on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you again for listening. Leave comments on what you'd like to see us talk about and what you thought about what we discussed.
And we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
All right,
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving. Bye.
Yeah, take it easy. Bye.
Laughter in the air, friendships touch. Movies and delights, we'll share so much.
Let's enjoy this side.